Hey guys, wanted to do a quick Volvo 850R update. So for a little while I've been running the MTE Stage 1 tune on this, and it's an automatic tune. It's not really designed for a manual transmission. I had some rev hang, I had some off throttle delay, and I just wasn't too happy with the drivability of it overall. So I got in touch with Aaron at Vast Tuning and bought a European 850R spec manual tune, and it has really pretty much the only difference from stock. It has the speed limiter removed and the overboost cutoff removed. So really curious to see how this drives. I just swapped out the ECUs, put a new one in, and it is also running M4.4, so a little bit better for data logging and gives you a lot more information when you plug it into a computer. And I ordered the $60 extra option to be able to tune and data log and modify this ECU in the future. So something I'd probably recommend doing if you are swapping your 850R to a manual transmission from an auto. And this is just a great base tune. It drives really, really well, and I'm going to show you guys that in this video. I just washed this and it just rained, as always, so we'll give you guys a quick walk around. But otherwise, this has been one of the major things that I've wanted to get sorted on the 850R. Next up, our brakes. We want to get the pads just a little bit more aggressive on here. Still running stock OE pads, and I'd like to get my Porterfield R4S pads on here and maybe do a light track day in the spring. We'll see. All the suspension refreshed parts from FCP are just incredible. This car drives so well now. It feels so fresh and tight, and it really does drive as good as it looks now. So I didn't really want to go for too much more power yet. I think down the road it would be fun to put a larger turbo in this and a limited slip differential, some more grip, some better brakes. But until then, I kind of want to keep it as true to stock as possible. And I will say it's pretty enjoyable in this current state. It's pretty awesome. This is kind of what I was going for all this time, what I wanted to achieve with this car, and this will be phase 1, we'll call that. Been a pretty comprehensive stage 0 on this 850R. We did bougie cord, plug wires, can't get over that name, and Volvo OEM spark plugs. Went through, checked for vacuum leaks, just made sure the car is in top running condition before going too far into things, and just want to make sure the maintenance on this 850R is tip-top. So let's talk about this tune a little bit. The first thing I noticed is coming off throttle, the car comes off throttle immediately. There's no 1 second delay and then a lurch. The throttle mapping is very progressive. It's very predictable. You put the clutch in, you let off the gas, the revs drop immediately. There's none of that little blip up between gears. And the rev hang is virtually gone now, which is great. I've also noticed an increase in throttle response, which is nice for rev match downshifting and just overall drivability. I will say, I think there's just a little bit less overall power here in this Euro-Spec 850R tune, which does make sense. That's about right. It falls off a little bit towards redline, but torque feels pretty good, and there's a lot of response from the engine and the turbo in the mid-range, which is great. The MTE tune was supposed to put out about 280 horsepower, and I don't know if it was actually doing that, but it was pretty powerful. It was pretty fast. car is just so pleasant to drive now. This is really how it should have been this whole time. One thing I do like, actually, from having a little bit less power is I can go wide open throttle without roasting the inside tire as much. To be honest, I'm not interested in adding more power until I get a limited slip differential in this car. I'd say right now it's about perfect. We're gonna do some, we're gonna do the brakes on this in a week or two. Just haven't had a chance because I am selling the BRZ, and that's gonna be the next video. So I kind of want to focus more on this 850R. Enjoy it. I miss enjoying just one car, or focusing my energy on one car instead of spread out over three. I'm gonna hold on to the Lexus GX. That's just a great daily driver, a really nice overall vehicle for the winter time, and it's really usable. It fits all of my needs. I can throw all my photography gear in there. I can put my mountain bike in the back very easily and get it dirty. It doesn't matter. But this 850R is going to be my baby. And I kind of wanted to see how this tune turned out and how the suspension rebuild turned out in determining whether I held onto this 850R. And I have been very, very pleased with the results. So this is definitely a keeper for me, at least for the next year or two, or even longer. We'll see. I have always wanted this car, and I finally got my hands on a good one. Very, very happy as a result. So let me know if you guys have any questions, but that pretty much sums up this fast Euro 850R tune. What else have I noticed? I've noticed slightly quicker startups, so the engine won't crank over as many times before it starts, which is kind of nice. It gives you a little bit more confidence in the starter and just the overall drivability, reliability of the car. And it's just more enjoyable to drive now. Most of the rev hang before was in the higher RPMs, just after letting off of full throttle. But even normal driving seems to be a little bit more responsive. I really wanted this car to drive like my stock 850 manual that I had in high school, and here it is. This is it. This is what it felt like, just with the turbo. And yeah, I think this summer, once things start opening back up again, we're gonna do, we'll do a light track day in this car. I think it's probably ready with some more aggressive brakes. I'll take it easy, and it'd be fun to toss this around Gingerman. I used to take my old 850 out to Waterford Hills for an autocross type track day, and that was just a lot of fun. And I think this car, you don't need much to make these track worthy, and they have a pretty good chassis that responds well to mods. So I'll crank that IPD front sway bar up to stiff and see what happens. See if we can burn off these BRZ tires and then maybe put some stickier rubber on here. Otherwise, the only other plan is to swap out the IPD exhaust muffler for a Borla XR1 muffler. The IPD, once it's broken in a little bit, is better, but it's still just drony as hell, if I'm completely honest. I'm not a fan of it. The older IPD exhaust was made by a different supplier, and it was perfect. It was great. It sounded nice. It didn't drone on the highway. It was a pretty good overall balance, but this is just, it's a little bit too much drone for my taste. And I will say the tune did lower the volume at highway cruising a little bit, which I think is interesting. But overall, I'm very curious to see what a Borla XR1 will sound like. I've seen a lot of videos of them on S60Rs, but not a lot on the 850R. And it'll be kind of an expensive experiment because the IPD is a T409 stainless steel, and the Borla is just your standard steel exhaust. So you have to have specialty welding equipment and kind of take it to a high-performance shop to get the job done. But probably cost me a little bit more than I want to pay, but I think after bringing this car to where it is now, it'd be a worthy upgrade and at least worth giving it a shot. I have a couple stock exhausts that I could always throw on if I wanted to, but really with this 5-cylinder, you want to let it sing. Yeah. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there, and stay tuned for a BRZ wrap up here coming soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.